This video is going to solve several irritating little behaviors about Power Query and Excel, specifically when working with plain tables. And when I say plain tables, I mean a table that does not possess the proper data table attributes. So I have a table here with some data. Maybe I've downloaded this from some system, and I want to bring it into Power Query. The issue is later when I get more transactions and I want to attach it to the original data set, am I going to see those additional transactions? Well, in a proper data table, the answer would be yes, because proper data tables automatically expand when you add new rows or columns. But plain tables don't. Let me quickly show you what I mean. If I were to click in this data set and do a Control A, select the data, go up to Data, from Table Range, I'm not going to perform any transformations on this table. I'm just going to dump it back into Excel. So I'll go to Close and Load to, and I'm going to place this right next to the original data. So a table on this sheet, and I'll just put it here in K1. Hit OK, and here's my output. Now, one of the things about Power Query that irritates me is it takes my original plain table and upgrades it into a proper data table, because Power Query loves proper data tables. Well, I didn't want that upgrade. So the fact that this is a proper data table means it's going to automatically expand when I add new records, and I'm trying to demonstrate that not happening. So let's see how we can prevent this unwanted upgrade. Let's hit undo a couple times. To prevent the upgrade from occurring, give the range of data a named range. So I'll press Control A again, select the data, and I'll go up into the name box and type in sales data. When I click away, you can now see from the name box dropdown, there's an entry for sales data. And when I click it, I get sales data. By giving that plain table a named range, when you go to data and choose from table range, that will bring the data into Power Query, but if we peek behind the scenes, notice the upgrade did not occur. I'm not going to perform any transformations on this data. I'll just go up to Close and Load and say Close and Load to, and I'll place the output of this query right next to the original data source. Now the actual problem. What happens when I add new data? I'll go down here to Day 2 Sales, click in this data, Control A, and then I'll Control C to copy. Go back to the sales data, click at the bottom of the data source, Control V, paste. If I go back to the query output, right-click refresh, I don't get the new records. We need to create a named range that can detect the arrival or removal of new rows or columns. Back in the Stone Ages, when I was first learning Power Query, the only way I knew how to create a dynamic named range was to write a named range formula that looked like this. This is an interesting formula, but the fact that you have this massive exponential value being searched for by a match function, which is nested inside of an index function, this formula goes way beyond what most people are comfortable with. But this is what I used 10 to 15 years ago. We can now rewrite this formula to look like this. This formula takes advantage of Excel's new dot operator or TRIMRANGE capabilities. A2 represents the start of my data, the upper left-hand corner, and I2000 just represents the last column and then some row number that I don't think I'll ever reach. You can set that value to whatever you like. Before we implement this solution as a named range, let's take a look at the behavior of the dot operator. If you're not familiar with this, this will be a very quick tutorial. It's not meant to be a comprehensive overview of the dot operator, but just enough to get you to understand what we're doing with this dynamic named range. If you're already familiar with the behavior of the dot operator, then go ahead and skip to this time code so we can get right to the dynamic named range solution. So here's a quick overview. I have this list of names. If I go to cell C1 and I type in equals, and I'll just pick the entire column A, press enter, a spill range will be created that shows everything from column A. Now, any cell that did not have information is represented as a 0. And if I do a control down arrow, we can see this goes all the way to the bottom of the Excel spreadsheet. That is a lot of retrieval of nothing. Control up arrow, let's go back up. If I go back into the formula and right after the colon, I place a period or a dot. When I press enter, I only retrieve data from cells that are occupied. So think of the dot operator as going all the way to the bottom of column A, but then performing a control up arrow to discover where the end of the data is. The great thing about that is, if I were to go over here and take some new names and add them to this list in column A, the dot operator discovers a new end range. And if I grab another list of names, add them to the bottom of the list, the output automatically grows. Let's get that dynamic name range to behave the same way. Here we are back in the original data. Now this is before I've created a named range. I'll click in the data, Control A to select the range, go to the name box, and give it a name. Sales data. Notice when I click the down arrow for the name box, I do see sales data in that list, so I can click it and invoke the sales data named range. Now that's important to see what's actually being used by Excel when we invoke the sales data named range. Let's go up to Formulas, and in the middle of the ribbon, Name Manager. Notice in the Refer Tos area, it's pointing to the sales data sheet, and it's picking everything from A1 through I-20. If we click at the end of that, I'm going to reassign that with a row number that I think I'll never get to when I add new data, like 2000. But I need to move my cursor just after the colon so I can add that dot operator. Now, as a side note, here's a massive frustration for a lot of Excel users. If I use my left arrow key in an attempt to walk through this reference, notice it changes the reference. It's adding things to it, and I'm wondering what the heck is going on with my computer. Here's the trick. To keep that from happening, press your F2 key, because this will switch you from what's called enter mode to edit mode. And now I can use my left and right arrow keys to walk through editing this information. If you'd like to see a very comprehensive video on all of the uses of the F2 options, check out the link in the video description or click the thing up there in the corner if it happens to pop up. So with my cursor to the right of the colon, I'm going to type in a dot, a period. Let's hit the check, hit close. Something to be aware of when you make this kind of modification. If you go back up to the dropdown for the name box, that named range will no longer show up. My suspicion is this list can only display statically defined ranges. It doesn't have the ability to list a dynamic range. Well, before we had to be able to select that from the list in order for it to highlight this data. But now I can't select it from the list. I don't want this to be upgraded into a proper data table. So here's how we're going to reference that dynamic named range. We'll go up to the data ribbon, and in the upper left corner, get data from other sources, blank query. This opens up with no drawn in data. In the formula bar, we'll type in equals Excel current workbook open close parentheses. When we hit enter, we see a list of every named range, print area, and proper data table in the Excel workbook. Those are the three objects that the Excel connector natively recognizes. I can now go to the hyperlink for table next to sales data, give it a click. I've brought in 9 columns and 19 rows of data. I can see that in the lower left corner of Power Query. I'm going to refine my data type. I'll set this to a date data type. But now I'll go to the lower part of Close and Load to, and I'm going to place this on this worksheet in cell K1. Hit OK, and here is my query output. That did exactly what we had before with the normal named range. But now the test. Let's go to day 2, click in the data, Control A to select all of the data, Control C to copy, go back to the original data source, click at the bottom, Control V as in Victor. Now I have 20 more records. I go back to my query output, right click, refresh. I have 20 more records. If I go to day 3, click in the data, Control A, Control C for copy. Go back to the original data source, go to the end, Control V and paste. Now I've added about 60 more records. Go back to the query output, right-click refresh, and we see all of those new records. So to recap, if I go to Formula, Name Manager, and look at the Refers To entry for sales data, we're using that dot operator or trim range reference to have the system automatically detect the end of the data range, in this case, up to row 2000. You can make that 200,000, you could make it 1,000,000. So the next time you have a plain table that you do not wish to upgrade, give it a named range, but to make the addition of records dynamic, go back to the name manager and add that dot operator after the colon. Don't forget to download this file from the link in the video description that has all of the formulas, and let me know what you think about this. As of the recording of this video, I don't have a dedicated video that focuses on the dot operator or the trim range function. But I'm sure if you Google that, there are plenty of excellent videos out there on the interwebs. Thanks for watching, and remember at BCTI, the learning never stops.